I'll get my car.
I brought mine.
Yours? I gotta get me one of those.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Bat Dan's Discussions. Yeah, it feels like we just had an episode. Well, I think some people were trying to tell me something in the chat on that stream that I missed, and because, again, I'm going to be honest, I have a hard time reading articles for the first time while trying to run a stream, especially when the camera's on me. But saw what came out, and I'm like, you know what? We need to talk about this, because this is something really good to talk about, and, of course, as everything with this Paramount merger and Warner Brothers, seems like stories keep developing. I swear, it's like no matter like how far something's always happening in advance, basically. Yep. No, I agree. But anyways, please welcome as I bring on Smackey. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. It's good to be back. I figured, it was going to be much bigger news, but well, I was hoping at least, kind of like they would pull out, but here we are.
Well, if really big news happens, believe me, we'll definitely make it a show, because we definitely got a lot to talk about. So, some news that wasn't really great today happened. Well, actually, that's not the main topic today. Some news that we saw this week happened, and so anyway, let's get on something kind of exciting first. So, Ben Affleck has another film out this year. Another Netflix film out this year. Animals. This time he's actually directing it too. Mm-hmm. And now he's not in the trailer, but our cyborg, Ray Fisher, is in this movie too.
Yes, he is.
So basically the plot of this movie, for those of you who don't know, is that Ben Affleck, the mayor, his child gets kidnapped, and he and his wife, they're doing all these mayor campaigns, and that's where the money is a lot of the money's being spent on, so they can't afford to pay the ransom. So it seems like a really fun premise, one that I'm really gonna, again, another kind of crime thriller I'm gonna enjoy. And it looks like we even have Glenn from The Walking Dead back in this one too.
Yeah, especially after the rip, I thought the chemistry they had on that was phenomenal.
Oh yeah, same here. I loved his character in the rip. But I will say, based on this teaser, he is an apparent good guy again. I do hope they do not make his character a twist bad guy again, just because it's too predictable because of the rip. Like, if the rip hadn't come out, I'd be fine with that choice, but because the rip came out, I'm like, maybe don't do that again with this actor's character. But anyways, what was your thoughts when you saw the little teaser? I'm gonna kind of call it teaser, because I don't really consider this a full-fledged trailer.
Yeah, because you were gracious enough to let me watch it before this. And what's up, J-Mar? I thought it was gonna be like a full minute 30, and then you get to it, it's actually like a minute, and there's no dialogue, which I'm totally cool with, because I kind of wish teasers would actually do this more often, where it's just an actual teaser and not giving you the full plot of the movie and in the whole thing. But I thought it looked really interesting, and I was really surprised to. What up, Cozy? Long time no see. Uh, and was that? I'm always terrible with names. We've talked about it before. Uh, Jillian, what's her name from X Files?
I have not seen X-Files.
She's also in that sex therapy show on Netflix as well. But you know who I'm talking about, right? Gillian
Oh,
Anderson, I think.
I'm Gillian Anderson. Gillian
I can look it up.
Anderson. Is that?
Oh yeah, Gillian Anderson. That's fair. Cool.
Okay.
Oh, and apparently Matt Damon's in this as well. I forgot all about that.
No, he's a producer of the movie.
Oh, okay. So it's just Google's
He-
doing that cool thing where it's lying about the cast.
Well, so the thing is, from my understanding, Matt Damon was actually going to be the lead in this movie.
Right,
and
yeah.
Because of the Odyssey, he couldn't commit.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember hearing that.
So he's still a producer of the movie. So my guess is Ben Affleck wasn't going to be in the movie at all then, other than directing it, because it is hard to direct and act in the same movie.
Yeah, especially after Live by Night, because I know that production, but then again, that was WB, so that really, but that was you got that was also you had WB really screwing him over between Live by Night and Justice League, so I was kind of surprised that he was willing to not only direct this but then star in it. So I'm glad he's doing it.
It's almost like good leadership can change your perspective on it. Like, if a certain company had bought Warner Brothers, he might have been able to,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying the fact that you got Ben Affleck directing and acting and starring in a movie by Netflix. I mean, I'll say it like this. Like I said, I want Ben Affleck to return to star and write the movie and to direct it if he wants to.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a whole nother topic that I don't want to get too off topic. What up, TJ?
What up, TJ?
But yeah, I mean, and again, there's nothing really. It's just a teaser that kind of just shows the high stakes and tensions. But that's what I liked about this teaser. They really showed the high. Just music really helps. Like the music that plays, you see the snippets of like the guy in the bunny mask with the gun. It's little things like that, or like the mysterious phone rings. You have a lot of questions. There's something about them not talking in it that actually makes it more suspenseful.
Right. Yeah. I was getting. I hate to say it, but it was kind of reminding me of the recent Resident Evil trailer where it was using the old style phone, which is it makes me sound old, but that's just because back then that's what phones used to sound like. But I think it was really clever what they were doing with this teaser.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, and again, there's not too much to say about it, but it did exactly what a teaser's supposed to do. It got me excited to see the movie. And like Ben Affleck again, he's such a great actor, and I'm just again seeing that movie. You're telling me this guy's too old to play Batman? Really? We're still gonna?
No.
Oh, a bad guy. I don't know, maybe. I'd rather it be Ray Fisher's character than Glenn's character. Because again, I don't want it to be Glenn's character just because it was already done in the Red.
Yeah.
You don't need to see, would be way too on the nose.
Yeah, I kind of figured that Ray Fisher is either going to be the bad guy or he's going to be related to Kerry Washington's character.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, good points. And I guess it was any other I was going to ask if there any other observations you noticed.
No, I like that you called out the bunny mask thing. That was really cool. I can't think of anything really. The the next topic I'm pretty excited about, since it's dealing with animals.
Well, actually, you know what? I'm glad you said that, because this next topic is a mistake on the trailer. There was a mistake on this trailer, some misinformation on this trailer, apparently, or I'm sorry, teaser. I committed to calling it teaser, but they're saying that Animals is getting a theatrical release, but this can't be right, though. I mean, I was told, I was
Mhm.
specifically told that Ted Sarandos was blowing smoke out of his ass, that Netflix does not want to do theaters. This is what people were saying to me
Yeah.
constantly. But no, it's in theaters.
What happened? What happened?
What happened? Netflix is committed to theaters. Again, they still want to do theaters. Just because the streamer itself, they're not doing big theatrical releases. Okay, this is what Dan Lin said, and this is what people are getting mixed up with the overall company not wanting to do theatrical releases. Okay? They are going to do theatrical releases. Oh, wait, I want to see what he says. Zachary Levi looked really old in Shazam 2. Then
He's not wrong.
oh god, don't get me started on Zachary Levi. You know, honestly, I think Shazam could have been a much better movie if they had a different Shazam in it.
John Cena, Alan Richardson, any other person ever.
Billy Batson was great, but not Shazam.
Yeah.
But anyways, it just shows. I love seeing narratives debunked. Like, people were saying, "Oh, they're not doing theaters anymore," but then Netflix is like, "Who's told you that?" I mean, people could say Dan Lin, but again, people took that quote out of context and didn't listen to what Dan Lin actually said.
Not only that, it seems like Dan Lin's like pretty much getting like shut down by Ted Sarandos.
Yeah.
Like, he's got less to do with the company now than Ted does.
Well, again, like, this is what people are misunderstanding. Like, Ted Sarandos is the CEO of the entire company of Netflix, whereas Ted Sarandos is specifically in charge of the streamer. That is his goal. That is his business. He is not going to. His job is to get movies and TV shows for the streamer. That is his job. But nowhere did he say the overall company. It literally, the headline literally said the streamer Netflix. Just like how this week I said there's the channel of Bat Dan's Thoughts, and like the overall channel, and there's the individual show I'm bringing back called Bat Dan's Thoughts. While one entity is part of another, it's not the entire entity. And that's the thing. And that's the thing with Ted Sarandos. Like, Ted, if there's a good movie, Ted Sarandos is like, hey, this could do well in the theatrical business. Let's give it a run.
It's like, and I'm sorry, but like, if you have Ben Affleck directing a movie, and let's take a step back. If you have Ben Affleck at your company currently, and he's like, yeah, I'm thinking about directing another movie, and he's currently happy working for you, and you hire his and Matt Damon's company, and then he starts talking about getting back into the directing game, you're going to go, well, your last couple of movies, you went from, your very first movie, you won an Oscar writing it with your buddy, and then from there, you won another Oscar with The Town, or was it Town or Argo? They both won, I think. Either way, The Town was amazing. Argo won. You can say what you want about Live by Night. Again, that's studio meddling. And then now he's back again. Like, you'd have to be either incompetent or stupid to not put him back in theaters. Like, so they're neither.
And I want to add something to what you said, because you brought up a really good point. Don't forget The Rip.
Oh yeah,
that did phenomenal, and that was a Netflix film.
Mm-hmm. And because of artist equity, they got the bonuses. All the crew, they got the bonuses, which was and the reason why we know that is, or the reason why that is a good thing, it goes back to your point. That means the film was successful. They would only get those bonuses if they hit a certain amount of numbers in the first 90 days. So they passed those numbers.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So that's actions speak louder than words, guys. Actions speak a lot louder than words. Again, what Dan Lin said, he said. But there's a lot of, first of all, again, like I said, when I say out of context, he specified the streamer. Okay? Does not mean, but who owns the streamer? The overall company, Netflix. And, you know, this is a theory. This is a theory out there. But the fact that they're going into theaters again, maybe, just maybe, it means something is happening behind the scenes that Netflix needs to get into the theaters again, whether it be theory number 1 or theory number 2 happening.
Please.
So, just saying, guys, actions speak louder than words, and right now, what we see here are actions.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is some not great news today. Mexico approves the merger. I mean, it's like I always say with some of these countries, we don't know how much these countries are impact in these other countries. Because again, Mexico, they only have say in Mexico. They don't have a say in how business affects these other countries. They care about their country. That is that government's job.
Right.
I guess, what was your thoughts, Smackey, when you saw this?
It's going to tie into some stuff I want to say to your later points, but it's because I had some notes that I actually prepared for this stream, believe it or not. You know, it's I kind of wonder how much film production is being done in Mexico, and it can't be a whole hell of a lot. Is my point. And it can't be too much that Paramount is going to be willing to send down there. So I'm just wondering what they're getting out of it. It just, because it doesn't make sense for them to just, with everything going on politically right now, like, I don't understand why they would approve this. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I won't single out Mexico in this. That's, you know, with all the governments, including ours, to be honest. But that is the most I will say with that. But yeah, I mean, that's just, I mean, that is what it feels like right now. And of course, David Ellison is so happy about this because go away. Go away. So, Paramount Warner Brothers merger gets Mexico approval, leaving state's lawsuit as the only barrier left. So, Paramount announced Friday that it has won approval from Mexico's competition authority for its merger with Warner Brothers, leaving only 12 state attorney generals standing in the way of the deal. Well, what about the WGA? They're also suing, but anyways. In a statement, Paramount said it has now won approval from regulators representing 68 countries, including the European Union, technically more than one country, China, Canada, Brazil, and the UK. CEO David Ellison urged the 12 states to negotiate a settlement that would allow the deal to go through instead of proceeding to a federal trial next March. Rather than support a stronger Hollywood and deliver tangible investments for the benefit of labor, talent, and other industries participants, the current path the 12 state AGs are on inflicts harm without the benefit to their own constituents. The company said the better path would be to resolve through a settlement that would serve in the interest of the workers, consumers, and consumers of each of the 12 states. So, yeah. Unfortunately, again, another victory for Paramount. Was hoping that another country would deny it, but again, if the 12 states are on their own lawsuit, maybe these other countries don't want to get that involved.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
I agree. So, I mean, to me, again, this is the optimistic theory. The optimistic theory is all these approvals don't matter. Oh, this part's not theory. This part's fact. All these approvals do not matter if the lawsuits go through and stop the merger. Then all these other countries' approval does not matter. So this gets into my theory.
Mm-hmm.
Mexico may not want to spend the money to fight this if they have paramount, or if they have the states stepping in to fight for them.
Right.
And then also, again, Mexico only has authority in Mexico. What happens in the other countries is not Mexico's problem. What up, Jeffrey? So, I don't know. Anything else you want to say about this?
Well, to your point, it's like with UK, I understand because they have a ton of there's a ton of filming going on there now, right? Because you've got all of the hello cat and all the Marvel stuff being filmed there now, and then everything else that's moved over there with like DC and whatnot. So it's like I said earlier, I don't know what Mexico's got going on down there. I don't think anything. I can't think of anything right, like off the top of my head. So, I understand in the UK. I can't remember if Canada has approved this. It wouldn't make sense.
According to the article, it has.
But okay, there was a thriving film industry in Vancouver. I don't know how it's doing now, especially with the way WB has treated the CW, especially thanks to people like James Gunn and David Zaslav. But they keep talking about how this is going to save Hollywood, but I don't see it. Thanks, Kitty.
So yeah, I don't know how we can really read that there, but basically Canada's on the list. But yeah, I mean, 100%. I totally agree, and I think that's the problem. What people need to remember though with these countries is that they don't necessarily want the merger to happen. They just don't see anything on their end that's saying, hey, this is a bad idea. This can't happen. For their country specifically. That's what that means. Or, again, it means something else is happening too, but there is, like, from what they're allegedly saying, is that they're not saying this is necessarily a good thing. They're just saying it won't be a bad thing. And I think that's key what people need to understand here. Not a single country has necessarily gone in and said why this is good. All they have said is, this is not bad for our country or countries when it comes to the European Union. That's what they said. Right. But I don't think a single one of them has been like, this is going to save our industry. No one has said that. And I make this point because David Ellison keeps toddling out that point. Yeah, I couldn't remember that word. But yeah. So... yeah, and that's what I'm hoping for too. And I think it's possible. I think it's absolutely possible. So, but, it's so funny. People talk concessions. There was this rumor. CNN was for sale. That came out. And then it was like, oops, no, sorry. So, let me just pull this up too. I mean... Paramount unwilling to sell CNN as industry pushes for settlement concessions. There is zero truth to reports that CEO David Ellison is prepared to sell the cable news network. So, and this article is dated August 13th, 2026. And a Paramount source is pushing back on reports that CEO David Ellison could sell CNN in an effort to resolve the legal battle surrounding the company's ongoing acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery. There is zero truth to the notion that Ellison is prepared to sell CNN in connection with the Warner Brothers Discovery transaction, a source with knowledge told The Wrap. CNN is not for sale, the source added. The denial follows a comment from Paramount Chief Legal Officer McCann Delrahim at Politico's California Agenda conference this week that prompted the headline suggesting the company could divest CNN to help secure its $110 billion deal. $110 billion Warner Brothers Discovery deal. So, I guess, what was your thoughts when you saw this?
So, remember how he said October 1st they're going to move Paramount?
Yes.
Okay. So, that's how, like, I knew that they were serious about it, because CNN's in Atlanta, right? That's where it's always been. And, like, to me, it makes more sense to have your movie studio in Tennessee, which is where they're probably going to end up moving Paramount. And then you can just have your news network in Atlanta, and, you know, have everything on the East Coast, and try to establish everything over here. And when they were trying to say, oh, CNN's for sale, I knew that was bullshit. I knew that was not going to be the case. And there was all these articles popping out. And so it was just like, it's only going to be a matter of time before they come out and say, no, actually, it's not for sale. So it was just like, I don't, like, sure, I like being vindicated, but in this instance, it was just like, I didn't really care about it, because you know, everyone seems to think that, like, if they sell CNN, that's going to fix everything. That's like putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. Like, who cares?
Yes, see, yes, that's how I felt exactly when I saw this. I'm like, okay, whatever. I mean, I'll say this. I think CNN would be a good part. If let's say they were trying to get this pushed through, I think CNN would be a good part of it, absolutely. But I need to see a lot more than CNN, and I won't get too far into this because we're actually going to talk about the full-fledged topic of this. But I want to see some stuff from the Discovery side and the Warner Brothers picture streaming and studio side. I want to see concessions from both those sides, and honestly, Paramount making some concessions of their own too. But that's what I want to see. Like, that's what I want to see, honestly. Like, I want to see big changes. CNN, as part of that, sure. I mean, honestly, I think David Ellison should consider selling CNN, because if David Ellison thinks this is going to go through without him selling anything, he's wrong. I mean, Disney could not get away without compromises. Why do you think that we still have Fox Corporation?
Yep. That's why it took 2 years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's another good point. The almighty Disney took 2 years, and they had to make concessions. Like, and you think that this one is going to sell quickly, or you think this one's going to happen? Like, no. And I want to bring up a point that Jeffrey said, because, I mean, this is probably more related to when we were talking about Mexico, but I still think this is a good thing. I mean, with all the countries, they can't afford a lawsuit, and that would halt production. But for America, that's basically Hollywood's heart. Yes, all these other countries do matter. I'm not saying they don't, but Hollywood, that's in the United States. It's all headquartered in the United States. So, I mean, but in the state leading the lawsuit, mind you. So, really good point, Jeffrey. Thank you for bringing that up. But yeah, I mean, we need more than CNN, guys. We need more than CNN. So, anything else you want to say to this?
Yeah, no, that's about it. Like, what's up, Curly Ray? Like, yeah, CNN is just a very, very small piece of the puzzle, and the sooner people start realizing that, the better. Because, like, I understand that news media is central to what one of the issues are, but it's gonna affect the livelihood of so many people that, yeah, bias in the media is key. I agree, but consumer rights are, to me, are just as important.
100%. 100%. And honestly, I think the only way I look at this as bad news is that if he's not even willing to do this, that better mean he has something else in mind. Not we're not selling anything. Because if that's his goal, if that's his method, Dave Ellison, this is not going to work for you. What up, Sin Havoc? And again, not even in their merger. Are you talking about, what do you mean, Sin Havoc? Are you talking about like Warner Brothers Discovery? Is that what you mean? Or yeah, I know. But now let's get into why we're doing this stream tonight. Because I mean, this other stuff was definitely important, but this is what really got me. So, because again, a lot of people were trying to send me this on stream on Wednesday. And again, guys, I'll kind of just say this. I love when people send me stuff, but please send me something that's quick to read because it's hard for me to do that when I'm on stream. But and also don't send me anything behind a paywall. Don't do that. But anyways, let's get into the merger. So I'm going straight to the letter, guys. This is straight to the letter. I posted the link where you can find the letter because this is actually on the actual website because I want to just go straight there instead of an article because this is straight from the horse's mouth. Merger domain pages. Okay. But so the DGA and the IATSE. Now, I'm going to confess, I didn't really know what the IATSE was before I saw this, and to be honest, I'm still not 100% sure, but I think they're like in charge of like the crew or some. Okay, let me just double check. What is IATSE in charge of?
I was like, why are people talking about It's Always Sunny? I didn't know what the hell it was.
Okay, it's like live theater, concerts, broadcast, sports. Okay, what is IGS Union for? Okay. They represent below the line workers in the entertainment industry. So negotiating contracts with employer for fair wages. They represent film and television, camera operators, electricians, live theater, stagehands, live concerts, audio, visual technicians. And I'm not reading everything, but okay. So, the wife of the DGA. Are you talking about Christopher Nolan's wife, Jamar? That's interesting. That is interesting.
Yeah. Tess.
I'm bad with names again, but anyway, so this is dated August 12th, 2026 to Rob Bonta and David Ellison. So, dear Attorney General Bonta and Mr. Ellison, on behalf of the Directors Guild of America and the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, Moving Pictures Technicians, Artists, and Allied Crafts of the United States, its territories, and Canada, IATSE. Oh, they literally said exactly what they are in this letter. We write to raise concerns about the potential for a prolonged timetable for the litigation related to the proposed merger of Paramount Skydance Corporation, Paramount, and Warner Brothers Discovery, WBD, and express to you the importance that you engage directly with each other to negotiate a resolution that ameliorates the anti-competitive aspects of the merger, of the proposed merger. And that is a big word. Let me just look up what that big word means. Ameliorates is the third person singular present form of the formal verb ameliorate, which means to make bad, difficult, unpleasant situation better, more bearable, or more acceptable. Okay. Should such an agreement prove impossible, we would ask each party seek to move the start of the trial to an earlier date, as continued delay and uncertainty around the future of WBD only harms its members. So far, I'm not going to lie. So far, I understand what they're saying, honestly, because it's not so much that they want to see this merger happen. It's that this whole limbo state is not great for them. I guess, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you, and I'm in agreement with J Mart too. Like, I don't know.
We'll get to why I think Nolan is compromised, because again, this part alone doesn't completely bother me. I mean, it's not great, but like, exactly, they don't like uncertainty. This is just me. I mean, this is again me trying to see the other side a little bit, but this is what really got me. So I want to get to, because I'm not reading the whole thing, guys. If you want to read the whole thing, it's in the article or in the description. So we remain steadfast in our belief that competition breeds innovation and opportunity and choice while providing checks against price distortions, market abuses, and gatekeeping. While we continue to have significant concerns about the proposed merger, we believe many of these concerns can be addressed through imposition of enforceable conditions in a binding agreement. Okay, so this is the part that I think that's really important here. These conditions include, and in fact, you know what? I am going to blow up the screen right now because I want people to really read this. So, the maintenance of Paramount and Warner Brothers Discovery's Pictures motion picture studios as separate studios, with each studio maintaining its own production, distribution, marketing, and exhibition groups as distinct divisions. The production and distribution by each motion picture studio of a minimum of 15 theatrical films per year with an exclusive... Okay, so just to clarify, the production and distribution by each motion picture studio of a minimum of 15 theatrical films per year. I want to make sure that's clear, guys. They're saying 15 for each Paramount and Warner Brothers, not 15 total. So that would match up David Ellison's 30-year promise. With an exclusive theatrical window of at least 45 days, preferably 60 days or more. Okay. Preferably is not that strong, guys, okay? Just saying. Before POVD exploitation and 120 days before SVOD exhibition. An agreement that Paramount and Warner Brothers Discovery will continue to license theatrical films from third parties at no less than the average percentage of films licensed from third parties over the past 5 years, excluding 2020 and 2023. Why 2023? The writers and actors strike. Yeah. Duh. The same separate operational structure for Paramount and Warner Brothers Discovery's television studios as applied to the motion picture studios. The maintenance of HBO as a linear pay television channel that will continue to be available on third-party platforms, e.g. MVPDs and Amazon Video. A commitment to produce films and television shows in the United States at no less than the average percentage produced in the United States during the past 5 years, excluding 2020 and 2023. A commitment to license original content on the combined entity's linear channels and streaming platforms from third parties at no less than the average percentage of licensed original content during the past 5 years, excluding 2020 and 2023. A commitment that Paramount and Warner Brothers Discovery will continue to be sellers in the marketplace, and a commitment that Paramount will continue to be based in Los Angeles. Our goal with respect to the proposed merger has always been to achieve an outcome that ensures a vibrant competitive marketplace for production, distribution, and licensing of film and television programming that serves the interest of consumers and filmmakers alike.
Wait, can you pull that back up?
Oh, you want to pull that back up? Okay, yeah.
I just wanted to see who the signature was.
Oh, good idea. Yeah. So signatures by Russell Hollander, National Executive Director, Directors Guild of America, and Matthew D. Loeb, International President, International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. So Nolan is not on there, okay? Because I know he's in charge of the Directors Guild right now, but he is not. He did not actually sign this one, so that is interesting.
Yeah, that's the part that I'm really curious about, and that's what has got me concerned, because I don't think Nolan would agree to this.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so either, honestly. I mean, I know he didn't sign it, but he's still the head of this. So he still has, like, it still falls under his purview. Like, if a company does something bad, that CEO is still getting blamed, even if they're not directly responsible for this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and again, maybe if he's president, I'm sure he still has like a board or something he answers to. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know exactly how the structural works, but I'm guessing it's something like that. But this, like, see, the conditions were my issue because do you know what were the conditions missing, Smacky? I want to see what you're going to say. What were the conditions actually missing? Like, they all sound great. They all sound great. Don't get me wrong, but what were they missing?
I think I have an idea what you're going to say, but the first thing that pops out to me is they don't mention anything about the cable networks that deal with Discovery. So they don't mention CNN. I don't. What were you going to say? Because to me, it looks just like what the Netflix deal was.
I was going to say that at some point, but yeah, I mean, that's exactly what Netflix was. But then James Cameron was like, I don't like this. Anyways. And at least with Netflix, there wasn't another theatrical studio that had to run separately.
Mm-hmm.
This is my big issue with this. All of this is promises. All of this is trust me, bro. That's what these conditions are. I don't want to see trust me, bro. I want to see real actionable results. Selling assets to make the competition, to actually have competition. Because I don't want this merger to happen, guys. I'm not going to lie. But at least if they sell enough stuff, at least the merger might not be as much of a threat. Like if Warner Brothers Pictures doesn't have all their original assets, it's still more competition. All this stuff is promises that, okay, we'll sign like a 3-year contract, a 5-year contract. What then? I mean, they're not owning them for 3 to 5 years. Maybe they promise they'll do this, but oh yeah. Maybe they promise they'll do this, but there could always be some loopholes, like what we discussed this week with the whole 30 films contract. Again, they'll maybe just release crappy films and then they'll use, well, it didn't perform, so we have to pull it out.
Mm-hmm. Like Supergirl was in theaters for what, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks? I was asking friends earlier. I was like, is Evil Dead still in theaters? Because I never got to see it in theaters. And no, it's not. And come to find out, that's a WB film. Every WB film comes out of theaters like almost instantly.
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Or, well, who knows? Maybe they are. Maybe something is happening with that. Who knows? But yes, exactly. I promises are nice, but I want to see something happen. But here's the other thing too. For consumers, even if like Warner Brothers Pictures and Paramount Pictures are running separately, completely separate, they still answer to David Ellison. They both still answer to David Ellison. It's still not competition. So pricing, they can still concern. They blacklist an actor, that applies to both of them.
That's a great point too. Like, where is that in this letter that they wrote? Like, where are they putting? You can't have a CEO of the company go out and blacklist half of Hollywood or threaten to move across the country.
Yeah, well, I mean, the across the country that's in there, but
for Paramount though. It's just Paramount. Did you
Yeah,
notice
that's a
that?
good point.
Because they could just say, "Oh, well, it just says Paramount. We're going to move WB." Like,
Yeah. I mean, and again, maybe they're saying that because they mean Paramount, the overall company, but that being said, that has to be specified because sometimes Paramount's listed separately from Warner Brothers. So you got to say something like the overall company or something to clarify that. Because even if they mean the overall company, Ellison can always use that as a loophole. Again, that's the thing with these contracts, guys. Loopholes are a thing. No, I have not. I'll take a quick look, and if it's relevant to this discussion, I'll bring it up. But if it's not really relevant to this particular discussion, not saying I won't talk about it, but won't do it for this stream. But anyway, what else you got to say, Smacky?
yeah, just to say, I just want to echo that I would love if, like, especially since Christopher Nolan is about to have the biggest R-rated movie of all time, I would love for him to come out and make a statement and just be like, yeah, the Directors Guild may approve of this, but personally, I don't. And I may have to back them, but
He might not be allowed to say that though. Like I mean, I hope he says something like that too.
yeah,
But now I'll pull this up because we were talking about Ben Affleck. So build your wings on the way down. Ben and I are on the set of BVS. So nice picture.
yeah, it is.
So
I think that's from the Bat Habitat picture, that T-shirt too.
yeah, well, it's from like the opening of the movie. Like that's what he wore when he.
No, I meant Zach's shirt. I think that's from that Bat Habitat that they had started.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, I would love for Nolan to come out and say that, but again, unfortunately, like, but this is what like irritates me. It's like these stipulations. That's exactly what Netflix is going to be. The only difference is that Netflix didn't have another theatrical studio, so it didn't matter. There was nothing to run separately with that.
Right.
But like other than that, like the Netflix streamer and Warner Brothers Pictures are going to be separate entities. And James Cameron and I think allegedly Nolan too. I'm not sure about Nolan. We're against it, but then with Paramount, they're like, please make these promises you won't do this, that you'll do this. Like, no, I don't want promises. At least a structural change, it actually happens. You sell off this asset here, you can't do anything with this asset more. It doesn't matter. You can't go back on your promise. You don't own it anymore. And that's yeah. So okay, yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, but it's like I mean, it just again, it's like this hypocrisy against Netflix, but then this is okay. Like, but here's why I'm not completely surprised too. I mean, back in 2023, 3 major parts of Hollywood. I mean, I would say these are the trinity of like the Hollywood unions: the DGA, is it STGA or the Actors Guild? What is that? It's like
SAG.
SAG.
Yeah, Screen Actors Guild.
Screen Actors Guild. Okay, SAG and the WGA. I think those are like the trinity of the unions for Hollywood. Which one, when AI was coming out, which union settled quickly? Okay, thank you, Sin Havoc. But anyway, Smacky, which one settled quickly?
Was it I don't remember who was first.
It was the DGA. They never even went on strike. They never went on strike.
Really?
They settled everything before the actors and the writers did.
You know why? Because they don't have any likeness to worry about.
Yeah, that's probably why. Yeah, so I mean that's what I'm saying. Like, they probably are not going to get as affected by this because again, people are like, "Well, see, the Directors Guild approves." Yeah, well, the actors don't. I don't think the writers do either. They still don't approve. So, I mean, that doesn't go away. You still have to. Yeah, but like I remember because I think it was like the set of Oppenheimer, or not the set, the premiere. I think it was the UK, maybe. It was one of the somewhere where Oppenheimer was premiering. I remember all the actors, they had to leave. Like during the premiere, they all got the text saying we're on strike, so they had to be like, "Sorry,
Oh
Nolan, we have to
yeah.
go now."
Okay, yeah, I remember that.
Oh, good. I'm glad Brett Colin doesn't approve. Or no, not Colin, Colbert. Why did I say Colin? I'm sorry, Brett. It's disappointing, but not surprising. I mean, and then again with this, I mean, I don't know enough about this other union, but about the AITSC, but I'm guessing again, it probably doesn't affect them as much as it does the writers and the actors. Like I was going to think it like this. I think of it like a U, right? So there's two possibilities. You're so big that no one can touch you, or you're so small you don't want to argue. You're so big this doesn't affect you. That's what I want to get. You're so big this doesn't affect you. You're so small you don't want to touch it.
Right.
So it's one of those two things. So, like, it is. But again, I don't think that either of them necessarily want this merger to happen. They just don't want to, they just want this to be done quickly one way or the other. They're suggesting these concessions because they want to get this done quickly.
Right.
I don't think they want Paramount to own Warner Brothers necessarily. I mean, maybe so Netflix doesn't, but other than that, I don't think they really want it to happen. They're just not against it. Yes, yes. So, yeah, I mean that's what I think it is. I don't. It's just they're because that's what people need to realize. Wanting something and not being against it are two totally separate things. Like, I'm not against it if someone oh my god, I can't think of a good analogy right now. Like, I'm not, against it if let's say that a McDonald's is on my way to work. Let's say that I'm not against the McDonald's being on my way to work. I don't want it. I'm not like, oh my God, I really wish there was McDonald's on my way to work. I'd just be like, I'm not against it. It can happen. I don't care.
Right.
That's just what I think it is. They're just not against, they just don't care enough. The uncertainty is what bothers them more.
Yeah, and it goes back to these are their lives being affected, you know, and especially if you're, uh, theatrical stage employee, like when you're getting shut down and these people, like they keep showing these people in these interviews and they haven't worked in 3 years, 4 years sometimes, which, uh, I, that's, I can't remember, like, I can't remember if this is relevant to like the next part you wanted to talk about, but like, one thing I did want to bring up is if you look at the way film production has gone in this country, like, you're from Illinois and, I'm from Georgia. Uh, did you know that Illinois lost 60% of their film production last year?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
and
should know that.
it's insane. And then Georgia lost 45%. And like when you take into account that like it's going to keep going down, especially with the fact that like it's only going to get worse, especially when you have this merger looming like this, and with everything going on in the world, like it goes back to what they're talking about with the uncertainty of everything. Like that's why it goes back to why I was saying earlier about Mexico. That's why I think a lot of these other countries are just so ready to approve it. And that's why you have a lot of these people saying, uh, maybe they're going to go film Justice League 2 and 3 in these desert places.
Oh. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy. Yep. No. But you know what though? There is some positive out of this. This guy is not backing down. Like, that's the thing, guys. When you stand by your beliefs and you truly stand by your beliefs, you don't change your views because someone says something. Now, if they actually show you something convincing, that's different. But if they just say, "Oh, please," no, then you truly didn't really care about your beliefs. So that's why I respect him. So I'm spoiling a little bit, but Rob Bonta is committed to Paramount Warner lawsuit despite settlement calls from DGA and IATSE. The merger violates long-standing federal antitrust law, California's Attorney General says. So, California Attorney General Rob Bonta responded to calls from Directors Guild of America and International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees to settle the state's antitrust lawsuit over Paramount Warner Brothers merger, saying the California Department of Justice remains committed to enforcing the law. The California Department of Justice always appreciates the opportunity to hear from workers and communities directly impacted by our work, Representative Bonta said in a statement to the Wrap. As it stands today, the proposed Warner Brothers Paramount merger will mean higher costs, less competition, lower wages, job cuts, and fewer movies and TV shows. This merger violates long-standing federal antitrust law. We remain committed to enforcing the law. Yes. Like, yes, I know that some people are impacted short term with like some of these, like, this uncertainty. I get that. But you got to think long term here. People losing their jobs, competition being worse, the law here. And again, guys, I'm not stupid. I know that a lot of these laws do not get followed by these big corporations. I'm aware of that. But that doesn't mean we ever need to commit, like, accept it, and doesn't that we don't need to enforce it as much as possible and call it out as much as possible. It doesn't matter that the DGA and IATSE want it. I mean, if they didn't want it, it's another piece of the puzzle, but all the unions matter here, guys, okay? All the unions matter. And the writers and the actors, they still don't want it. That doesn't go away just because the other guys say they want it. But I guess, what's your thoughts on his statement?
No, you're completely right, and he's 100% factually right, and it's like the guys are saying in the chat. He literally has the law on his side. Like, I don't know what people are thinking, that like this is all just for like political theater. It's like, if you want to get down to it, like, everything's about politics, sure, but like, we're talking about the law here. Like, at the end of the day, the law is the law. Like, you can't just sit there and say, yeah, we're just going to put 6,000 people, and that's just a lowball estimate, in the first year. 6,000 people out of a job, just because one guy wants to own what is that, like 30% of Hollywood?
I would estimate about 40%, because the big five, Paramount and Warner Brothers are part of the big five.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously you can't, it's not just five, because I know there's like smaller people as well, but I would say a little over 30, honestly. I would definitely say I would say at least 35. And guys, this is not perfect math I'm doing here. I'm splitting the difference between the five major studios and the fact that there are smaller ones too, like Lionsgate is also one that's not part of the big five. And again, the big five being Sony, Disney, Warner Brothers, Paramount, Sony,
Universal.
I always forget one. Yes, Universal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those are the big five. So that's 40% coming together right there. And plus, but again, I know there's Lionsgate, I know there's MGM, I know there's smaller ones too, but that's the law, guys. It's not like, just because he promises to run stuff separately, David Ellison promises to run stuff separately, and let's say even if he makes those promises, that doesn't mean that they're still not owned by him. They're still owned by him. He still controls those. Just because they run independently, like I think there was like it doesn't change the fact that it's still owned by him.
Right.
Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, like, I'm glad you brought up Disney. Like, look at what happened with them. They bought 20th Century Fox, which also had Searchlight? Is that the other company they have? And
Yeah.
so that's 20th Century Fox, Searchlight, Disney. That's 3 film companies. Which you could argue it's a bunch more than that once you include Pixar and everything, everything underneath that, because there's also like there's another one I can't think of off the top of my head. Point is they he's like, oh well, you think they would start producing more movies once they acquired all those studios? They have not hit their the same numbers they had before they acquired them. They've made less movies since they bought those studios. So I don't want to hear this mess about how he's going to buy a studio that is 3 or 4 times bigger than his because WB is now suddenly somehow worth $111 billion when it used to be worth nowhere near that. And Paramount is only worth, it's only worth like what, 10 billion or whatever it was. And he's somehow going to produce 30 movies a year? No. Like, it's never been done before. And this guy has never ran a movie studio before. So, no, I'm tired of rich assholes getting their way.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I like his attitude is what really pisses me off. Honestly, that's like, I'm not gonna lie. A big reason why I want him to lose is just his attitude. Like, someone like him, he needs to learn that he doesn't always get his way. But also, I'm really glad you brought up Disney, because have you ever heard of Blue Sky Studios?
Sounds familiar.
They've made films. So let me go over their filmography a little bit. They've made Ice Age, the Rio series,
Yeah.
or the Robots, Horton Hears a Who, the Peanuts movie, Spies in Disguise.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know? So do you know who owns who owned Blue Sky Studios?
That sounds like 20th Century Fox or Searchlight, one of them.
Yep, 20th Century. They owned it, and it closed permanently on April 10th, 2021. Disney cited economic challenges and the difficulty of running 3 separate animation studios alongside Pixar and Walt Disney Animation Studios.
When was the last time you saw a Walt Disney animation movie come out that you can think of? Because I can't think of anything.
Last, Zootopia 2.
Oh, okay.
November 2020.
Sure.
What up, Josh?
Hey, what's up?
Anyway, what were you going to say?
No, I just like... It's the point I keep making about animation too, is that like animation is in such a rough spot. It's like it's sort of similar to video games. I think like video games are about to crash. I think animation is so close to crashing, and I hate to see it. And I know like everybody's like, oh, think of the crossovers between Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network. You are not going to see any crossovers. I mean, you might, like, between the characters. You're not going to see it in the sense of like, I'm going to see my two favorite creators work together. You're going to see like, Ninja Turtles hanging out with freaking Ren and Stimpy or something stupid, you know, whatever. Like, you'll get that kind of lame shit. Like, who wants that?
Originally, we already even had that. Well, not Ren and Stimpy, but we had Ninja Turtles and Batman crossing over.
Yeah.
But still, yes. I mean, it's not just like the actors who make the characters; it's the writers too. I mean, the writers have different styles, and I mean, and also let's be honest, Nickelodeon is just SpongeBob at this point. I mean, Nickelodeon is the SpongeBob channel, and don't get me wrong, I loved SpongeBob as a kid, but it doesn't. It's like all Nickelodeon seems to care about anymore, anyways. And I mean, heck, I mean, Cartoon Network might become like another channel just for more SpongeBob content. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's just this isn't good, guys. I mean, this isn't good. This is just promises. But this brings us to what we actually said. So I want to go back to the whole Mexico article because there is something that David Ellison says. Okay. Oh wait, I already have that up. So let me just share my screen real quick. And again, guys, I'm not reading the whole thing because I already read it, but so this is what David Ellison urged the 12 states to negotiate. This is what he says. Rather than support a stronger Hollywood and deliver tangible commitments to invest in for behalf of the labor, talent, and other industry participants, the current path the 12 states are inflict harm without the benefit to their own constituents, the company said. The better path would be to resolve this through a settlement that would serve the interests of workers, consumers in each of the 12 states. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. We both agree the merger would never, we don't want this to happen at all. But let's say it, let's say it does. Let's just say for the sake of argument, devil's advocate here, there are actual structural changes that we'd be okay with. Like, we're not saying we're going to be happy with it, but like our concerns will be at least alleviated a little bit. And I guess, and I'll admit, there, with certain things, there is a little bit of bias in here. I'm just going to say that up front. I'm not going to act like, oh, I'm completely objective in this. No, I definitely have my biases a little bit here with some of them, what I'm going to say.
Okay.
But,
are you going to be like,
don't start with the obvious. I'm sorry, we're going to say?
You're going to say like James Gunn fired out of a cannon or what?
No, nothing like that. But like, just like actual structural changes, like divesting yourselves of certain assets. It's like kind of more what I'm thinking of, because that's permanent. That's something like you don't own this anymore.
Right.
So what is like what are some assets you would be okay? Like, hey, you sell off these assets, what, and I'll be okay with this. Like you, or like when I say okay with this, I don't mean you'll be 100% on board, but you'd be more accepting of it. We'll say it like that. You're like enough that you're not like, oh my God, everything's doomed.
Yeah. Well, DC, obviously.
Oh, yeah, DC. I mean, that's definitely the big one. And I'll get into more of like why I think DC would probably be a perfect asset for them to divest if they're so insistent on getting Warner Brothers. But I guess what are some other assets that you're like, hey, sell this off, sell this off, sell this off?
Well, if you're going to do DC, I think you need to do WB Games, and then that goes into obviously the Matrix, and that too then goes into like, because they have like the Lord of the Rings. I think they have the rights to the Lord of the Rings movies. It's really weird how that is structured right now. So yeah, like Hanna-Barbera, Cartoon Network, stuff like that. I say get rid of HBO. Like, if you're going to do stuff like that. I don't. I'll be honest. I don't care about Harry Potter. I'm tired of hearing about Harry Potter. It's just not for me. If they want to like throw that in with a bag of chips, go for it. Like, what else do they have besides that? Like Game of Thrones. I can't. Just like Terminator, that like they used to have part of that, but now it's over at Paramount, isn't it, or something weird? I think.
I'm not really into Terminators that much, so I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, so it's all weird, man.
And I will say with Harry Potter, to be honest, the only thing that's really big about Harry Potter right now that's really worth anything are the theme park rights. Because I've been to, Harry Potter Land and Universal. That's amazing. I'm not going to lie. Like, I do. And the movies were good. I enjoyed the movies, but I mean, we'll see how this series goes. But, like, basically, Harry Potter, the main thing is the theme park rides. Okay, so you'll get the, the licensing fee from Universal. And besides, I don't think Harry Potter really is enough, honestly, because J.K. Rowling also owns some of that too.
Yeah.
So it's not even like that big of a thing for them to give up, in my opinion. But here's an asset that I think I think CNN should actually go. I think,
Yeah,
people keep
that's it.
talking about it. Like, people don't even understand. Like, I know it's shocking. CNN, but back then you said that's not enough. Yeah, that's what I said. Not enough. But I still think it's valuable. It's a good piece of the puzzle. Because I do want to, factor in the cable networks as well. I think what they should also do is sell, I would say, HBO. They can sell HBO, sell the content from Max. I think, I'll say this. When I say sell HBO Max, sell like the content from HBO Max. But I think, I mean, Sin Havoc, that just goes into like this not happening at all. We're talking about that, if this happens. I mean, believe me, when it comes, okay, Harry Potter. Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point too. Fine. But believe me, that's the better option. We're saying that, within a reasonable frame, what would we be okay with that? We're like, okay, this isn't as bad. But I would say CNN, because I do want to acknowledge, some of the political stuff that, with the news, that is important. I don't want people to act like that's not important. That is important. I would say Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network need to go. Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network need to go. Like, one of those two need to go. And I would say, honestly, if you're going to sell something to Netflix, maybe sell Nickelodeon to Netflix. Now, it's a little different with the production company, or, well, I guess the production company and the channel. Maybe sell the production company to Netflix, because Netflix is doing all these is doing a lot with SpongeBob. Like, you got all these SpongeBob movies on Netflix right now. So, maybe just sell like the Nickelodeon production company to Netflix. But the channel, one of those two need to go. You cannot own Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network. That cannot happen, guys. Okay. This is more for fun, Sin Havoc. I don't think David Ellison is going to go for this at all. But, okay, HBO, like I was saying with like HBO Max. Sell the IP to HBO Max. Sell all the content from HBO Max. But I think they should keep the interface, because Paramount Plus's interface is dog shit. Like, I don't want to say sell Paramount Plus, because that's not that. One, okay, I'll just sell you my shit then. Just sell my, Smackey, you've posted that your dog having a dog. Why don't you just sell the shit? When he takes this shit, just sell that and say that's a concession. Like, no.
Is that all right with you? He just looked at me funny, so that's you got the approval.
Oh, okay, great. But we don't need, like, Paramount Plus is nothing. Like, that app runs so poorly that selling that means nothing to me. So I would say CNN for sure. Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon, the channel. Nickelodeon Productions. I think they should sell like the production company to. And again, guys, I know I may get some stuff slightly inaccurate with how the whole structure of everything works, but sorry, I don't know every single thing. But so I said CNN, Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon Production Company, HBO, and I'm going to say DC. All of MTV and VH1. Yeah, sure. That can go too. Actually, one more thing I want to add to this. Comedy Central. Sell Comedy Central.
Oh, God, yes, please.
Because I like what South Park is doing. I love South Park. And I normally do not like shows that get political, but South Park makes fun of everyone, so I'm okay when South Park does it. I think South Park would be a good one to sell. I think Trey just sell Comedy Central to Trey and Matt Stone. Like, just let them own the entire Trey Parker and Matt Stone. They can just own everything. Comedy Central. Sell it to them.
I'm fine.
Hanna-Barbera would be a good one, but I think the big one they do need to sell, honestly, is DC. And I will tell you why I think DC would be a perfect one, because the IP is still valuable. I mean, the IP of DC is still valuable. And I think I would argue it's Warner Brothers' most valuable IP right now.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and again, I know I'm a little biased in this. We're biased in this. And again, guys, there is bias in a suggestion. I'm not going to deny it, because I don't. I always want to be straight with you guys, okay? I always want to be straight with you guys. I never want to say, like, oh, I'm not being biased. I'm not being I'm being totally objective. I'll call it out. But here's why I think DC would be such a perfect asset to sell right now. The DCU is tanking right now. Okay, guys, let's just be honest here. It is tanking right now. And if David Ellison wants to do another reboot, that's not going to work either. Okay? I don't think David Ellison has a plan for DC right now. Like, I don't know. Do you think he has a plan for DC?
David Ellison? No. I mean, they have Gun Superman on the page, so maybe he does.
No, Sin Havoc. No, we're not selling any of my stuff. But I think right now they don't have a plan for DC right now. Okay, they do not have a plan for DC right now. But you know who does have a plan and who would be a buyer? Netflix.
Yeah. It wasn't AI, people.
So, yeah, exactly. So, sell DC to Netflix. Let Netflix get DC. Again, get my crazy out there theory. Because at least then, because that's a major IP. That is a major IP, one of their most valuable IP. You think about that. You sell that. That I think already strengthens competition. Sell it to Netflix or sell it to Universal, who I think is going to be bought by Netflix should this merger go through.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that selling DC would be a perfect one because you don't have a plan for it right now. It's still a valuable IP. You're going to be in big debt right now. That's a lot of money you can get for DC to pay off that major debt right now. Like, that. There are so many benefits, I would say, to selling DC. And guys, I would rather Warner Brothers exist as its own company under a competent parent company like Netflix. But I would rather have Warner Brothers divest itself of a lot of assets than have this unfair competition.
Yeah, agreed. 100%. Like, watched The Matrix Reloaded the other day with a friend who had never seen it, and it was just like surreal seeing the WB logo, turn green, and it's just like it's such an iconic memory for me, and you think back to that time, and like from that period up until you might as well say 2017, because that's really for me when WB died. But like from that was 2003, 2004, from that's a pretty goated period of time. And I would rather have WB still have DC, but if it means DC can go back to thriving as opposed to what we're getting now, where Jon Stewart's dad is playing William Tell with an apple, or with a gun, I should say. Yeah, sell it. It beats that.
Beats that, and it also beats unfair competition, because at least even if they own Warner Brothers, at least Warner Brothers itself won't be as powerful as long as some of these assets are spread out. And again, I want to say Warner Brothers. I think they need to sell some stuff from the Paramount side too, not just the Warner Brothers side. They need to sell the Paramount side too. Like, I mean, ideally, I would love it if they would just sell the streaming and studios assets to Netflix and they just keep the global Discovery Global partners. But I still do want to acknowledge that the concern of CNN and CBS is still not great under one roof. So I'm gonna, I'll kind of say some of what I guess. Is there anything else that you think that they should sell? Like, what are some other assets you think they should sell?
Uh, I think you have it right with CNN. I, I go ahead with the split, basically. Get rid of all of the Discovery stuff, because I'm sure there's things in there that don't really correlate with what they've got going on. But yeah, as far as like Paramount is concerned, uh, there's probably things that would basically just be the same thing that they would have at WB. So yeah, I don't even know. That's a good point. So Paramount's doing Street Fighter, and then Warner Brothers is doing Mortal Kombat. You got to get rid of one of those.
Oh yeah.
So uh, uh, get rid of NetherRealm Studios and get rid of Mortal Kombat. Let somebody else do it because it's not working. You know, um, uh, I think it was Sin or TJ saying get rid of Zelda Tolkien stuff. That's what I was mentioning earlier because I think that Gollum movie is gonna suck. I'm sorry. I love the Lord of the Rings movies. I've got the Return of the King poster right there on my wall. It's part of my childhood, man. I'm not looking forward to seeing Andy Serkis play Gollum again. It's dumb. It's a dumb, stupid, dumb. I can't say those words enough. That is a terrible idea. We just had an anime make like what 2 billion. They fucking wish like $2 million a couple of years ago. Nobody cared. So yeah, yeah, man. I don't know, man. I HBO. That goes like, do you even count Game of Thrones if you're selling HBO? If you're including?
I think so. Yeah, I think if you sell HBO, I think that would include Game of Thrones. I think that includes Game of Thrones. I think that includes all of HBO Max's originals. But because like the HBO channel, yeah, I think that's
Because they have a Game of Thrones movie coming out. So
Oh yeah, they do. Or they do. Wait, they do?
yeah, apparently.
Oh.
I don't know
Well,
why.
I will say this: sell Game of Thrones to Netflix and then let them redo season 8.
Yeah, let let somebody do it because I don't know. We're never gonna get that ending.
I refuse to watch any more Game of Thrones content until they redo season 8. And if that's never, then I'm never watching any more Game of Thrones content. It's why I haven't watched House of the Dragon. I'm like, the
Yep.
ending of season 8 it ruins the show for me. So it ruins the franchise for me. So I cannot watch. It's just no, unless you redo that season and say that other season ain't canon, then
Yeah, I've never. What's up, Mama Bear? I don't think I've ever been more. Probably since Mass Effect 3. Like I don't think I've ever been more let down by anything since that. So yeah, like if somebody would have the guts to come, like, just redo the whole thing at this point, honestly, because I season 4 on I had issues, but season 8, no.
oh, they actually make a joke about like what you said is like basically when Tyrion kills Tywin, and guys, Game of Thrones has been out for a while, so spoilers. And there's like some joke of like after like the quality was like kept in the toilet or something because it's like so when you killed him, like the quality like of the
Mhm.
show went down. So like yeah, I mean I agree. I mean, maybe do a reboot of Game of Thrones. And again, I know people say, "Oh, you shouldn't reboot stuff. Reboots are suck." Yeah, well, the ending of Game of Thrones sucked. So I mean, if you can do a better ending, you already are better than the original. I mean, I have also said too with reboots. Sometimes people just like the first one better because it's the first one, not because it's actually better. But yeah, I mean, I would say, like to me, you need to sell six. Like you need to sell at least 5 major assets and 2 to 3 smaller ones. or you can sell 8 major assets too. But you got to sell, like, to me, and guys, I'm guesstimating a number here. I'm not like why 8. I'm just going with a number. I would say you need to sell 8 to 10 assets, 5 to 7 of them being major assets.
Yeah. And something, it's got to be something substantial. Like when you're saying HBO, that's substantial. DC, that's substantial. CNN, it's kind of substantial, but it's not as big as the other two.
Like, I wouldn't put it as minor, but I wouldn't quite say it's major either.
Right. It's like somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. So, like, I'll put it like this: if you sell CNN and another one that's at CNN level, I'll count that as like half. That's
Yeah.
So, but like half of a major asset. So, like, I'll be honest. I mean, we were kind of listing stuff. I would have to go back and rewatch the stream for me to remember everything I said. I think I was like CNN, Nickelodeon, or Cartoon Network, the channel, Nickelodeon Production Studios, and you could do Cartoon Network instead. But I'm trying to like balance it out between Paramount and Warner Brothers, HBO, Comedy Central, DC. We'll say MTV too, like MTV as well is what I mean when I say two, and then we'll say one more just to, and this is a random one, guys. Hanna-Barbera. Let's say, how about Hanna-Barbera? You know, sell Scooby-Doo, Flintstones, sell that, all that. That's what.
Have they already sold Looney Tunes?
No, I don't think Looney Tunes is not Hanna-Barbera. You know, actually, no, and Adult Swim. Yes, we'll add Adult Swim to that. So,
you're internet famous.
I kind of, Looney Tunes, I think, needs to stay with Warner Brothers no matter what, because they're the mascot of Warner Brothers. Like,
yeah.
I mean, even like, to me, if Looney Tunes is sold, Warner Brothers as a company is done. Like, to me, that's like when you're selling Looney Tunes.
That's like Disney selling Mickey.
Exactly. Yeah, Looney Tunes is not Hanna-Barbera, but I guess. Okay, you know, that's a fair point, Sin Havoc. That's a good point. And, you know, I don't know. I kind of want to say they need to sell one of their studio lots, too. I don't know. Is that too much, you think?
Now, you mean like WB or Paramount?
Yeah, yes.
Like,
I don't want to say that. Yes, in Hollywood.
I think that's fair. Especially since, you know, one of them's threatening to leave.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I'm sure Netflix would be interested in buying some of that stuff. And hey, it'd be funny then some of the DC stuff could stay at the Warner Brothers lot if it works out that way. But okay, so the challenge. You want to try to recap all the stuff you said should be sold?
A lot of it I agreed with you. I was just saying, you know, DC, and I agreed with CNN, HBO. I said I don't care about Harry Potter, so it can go, but I don't know how that would work out. I was just throwing in like the game studio because, but that would be tricky because I know it goes beyond DC and Mortal Kombat, but then I think that fits more if you're going to go ahead and sell Mortal Kombat as well. So that, and then like the Matrix, and yeah, DC. I already said that. Yeah, I can't even remember, man. My brain fog is through the roof.
Fair enough.
But yeah, no, I think Adult Swim. I think Adult Swim would be a perfect fit at Netflix, and then like the Nickelodeon production makes a ton of sense at Netflix as well.
Oh, that's a good one, Sin Havoc. Because didn't New Line Cinema aren't they the ones who technically did Warner Brothers?
They were the ones that did Lord of the Rings. Originally.
That's what I meant to say. That's what I
Yeah,
meant to
that's
say.
what I thought. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I said Warner Brothers. Yeah, because so that's what. Yeah, that's what we Hanna-Barbera. That's Hanna-Barbera. But yeah, because sometimes you forget because it's all under one parent company. You don't always remember like which actual division did it. But
That's because I said Tolkien. Well, I said the Lord of the Rings movies, and then he said Tolkien. So I'm glad he said that.
and just to clarify, guys, if certain like IP like DC were saying be sold, that includes the movies that were made under Warner Brothers. I think those movies also have to the rights to all those movies have to go. And any crossover rights they can work out, like I know we're talking about like Netflix for some of the stuff. Not all of it has to go to Netflix. In fact, all of it shouldn't go to Netflix. I don't as much as we love Netflix, I don't want Netflix owning anything either, guys. I know. Shocking. But
I'd be fine with Universal getting the Matrix. I would love to have a Matrix ride at the Universal Studios parks.
well, if Universal gets the Matrix, it'll probably end up at Netflix then.
Yeah.
If we're going with my theory. But I
Oh
guess
yeah.
there's anything up my crazy out there theory of Netflix getting Universal and DC, which, if this goes through, if what someone was saying, that's exactly. But I guess, is there any like thing on the Paramount end that you think they should sell? Because I think to me, you can't just do the Warner Brothers. You got to do some of the Paramount stuff too.
I don't. I can't think of anything that I even like from Paramount. If I'm honest, I Mission Impossible. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay,
Oh,
Star
Star
Trek.
Trek. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Like, I'll be honest, I never got into Star Trek, but I recognize it's a popular IP with people. So I think this is what we're talking about. I mean, let's say if David Ellison actually goes through to
Transformers. There you go.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, Transformers. That's another one. But I'm just saying, like, even if I know we're like having all this list of stuff here, do I actually expect all that? No, I don't. To actually be sold, should David Ellison make a serious deal? I mean, a serious deal, okay? Not promises. I don't give a shit about promises. I don't care about what it like. Oh, trust me, bros. I don't give a shit about that. To me, that's nothing. I want to see real action. At least if a good chunk of this stuff gets sold, I'll feel a lot less threatened by competition. Heck, or maybe if Netflix does get all that stuff that we talked about, at least maybe then it makes Netflix a lot more powerful in certain areas that they're not that powerful in. So maybe it could help straighten competition a little bit more. Maybe helping Netflix to become potentially, if they don't buy Universal, maybe that could help Netflix become the new fifth studio.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm saying, like if they create their own studio from the ground up. I mean, there's that too. I mean, there's so many possibilities here when I say this. Like Netflix might be like, hey, we got a lot of stuff here. We could really build up our own studio with this. So, I mean, who knows, guys? Who knows? Or they buy Lionsgate instead, but then because they have all these assets, now Lionsgate can be one of the big five now. Can truly be one of the big five. So who knows, guys? Who knows? I guess, is there anything else you want to say with this topic?
No, I think we pretty much nailed it. Like, in some of the IP that they put in. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Avatar or Transformers, Halo, any of those getting sold off. But I did like the idea of Matt and Trey being the stewards for Comedy Central, just because I don't even know what they play on that channel anymore besides South Park or The Daily Show.
I honestly forget that the channel's more than South Park, honestly.
Yeah.
I know it is, but
I miss the stand up they used to play all the time and all the great shows they used to have, because that's where I learned to really appreciate and love comedians. It's just a shame.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is what I'm going to say: Directors Guild, IATSE. If you want a serious concession, consider some of these changes for competition. Okay, Because that's the whole point of this, is I want competition 100%. 100%. Like, make some of these changes if you want like Rob Bonta to actually like make a deal. You need to do something like this. I mean, he even said structural changes, not behaviors, not what ifs. I don't give a shit about what ifs. I don't give a shit about trust me, bros. I don't give a shit about even shit you put in writing that you can use as a loophole. Like, I don't care that you can find a loophole to get out of. I don't care about that. You sell off assets. That is the way that you make this deal fair. And again, I would rather that this doesn't happen at all. I'm not going to lie, and I do think that Rob and like the states have the negotiating power because they're not the ones who are going to be paying a lot of money really soon. So David Ellison, you're the one who's desperate here. So keep that in mind. You're the one who's desperate. You don't have the negotiating power here. They do. So, anything else you want to say about this one?
I like how you said that he's the one that's desperate, because they literally made another statement today. So it's just like every time, it's always them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that statement. I was just like, it's nothing new. It's wham, wham, wham. Please let this pass. Wham, 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 wham.
Tired of hearing from him.
Yeah, no shit. You don't think you think there's competition. No shit. You're saying that. Mm-hmm. But anyways, so final thoughts, and what do you have coming up?
Final thoughts is just still iffy on that whole Nolan thing. Kind of hope we get some sort of clarification, even though I don't think we will. And yeah, as always, I really do appreciate you having me on. And it was a ton of fun, like always. And it's always good seeing all you lovely chat people. And same thing as last time. I'll be popping up on Cozy's channel. He's got some killer gameplay vids and some other stuff coming soon. And I got my streaming coming soon too as well. Just look for it on my Twitter. And it's always great being here, and looking forward to whenever we do this again.
Absolutely, man. Of course. I always love having you on. I think we have really great discussions, and coming up on this channel, again, same thing as you. Not much has really changed in the last 2 days. So I would say coming up for me is, again, as you know, I have a Kings Island review in the lab right now. I am working on it, and you're going to see a lot more theme park content really soon on the show, not the overall channel, Bat Dan's Thoughts. And I do want to cover some of the Zack Snyder news we've been getting lately too, because there's a lot coming, and we'll cover that. And again, as the Paramount Warner Brothers merger, I can't really advertise that because there could be news tomorrow. There could be nothing real substantial till 2 weeks from now. I have no idea. So just whatever happens, just assume that if something big happens, that this channel will cover it. Just assume that. So that's what I'll say to that. And guys, thank you for watching. This was a really fun stream. I really like some of your ideas in the chat too. And if you like this stream, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more unique takes, interesting thoughts, and great discussions such as these. And on that note, any final words, Smacky?
Bang, as Leon says.
And on that note, have a bat-tastic day.